Welcome everybody to another exciting, amazing edition of Joshing Around Milwaukee. As always, I'm Josh Albrecht, and
I am Josh Albrecht as well. Josh Albrecht number one.
And I am Josh Albrecht number one. We'll decide that later on.
Yeah,
But as always, Joshing Around Milwaukee, presented by VISIT Milwaukee and our friends at Drink Wisconsibly. Today we are at one of the most unique museums in the entire world, the Bobblehead Museum.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 Joshes having some fun. 'Cause 2 Joshes are better than one.
I'm here with Phil. Phil, introduce yourself to the amazing people out here in Milwaukee and beyond.
Yes, I'm the co-founder and CEO of the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum.
Oh, see, I was shortchanging you with the name.
Hall of Fame and Museum.
Yes,
And
Hall
museum.
of Fame and Museum. So right in the heart of Milwaukee, great location. You got a Collectivo coffee right here with you as well, so people can fill up on the coffee and then come upstairs and check out the Bobblehead Museum. So you're on the second floor here.
Yes.
Have you always been in this location?
We had a preview exhibit in 2016, just north of the Bradley Center at the time, now Fiserv Forum, and that was sort of to gauge things. We had about 2,000 bobbleheads on display, so we have about 5 times more here now, and we've loved this location. Opened February 1st, 2019.
Awesome. So you're right here in downtown. You said you started with about 2,000 on display. I heard earlier today it's nearing 11,000 plus, maybe teetering either side. Now that we've got some, every time there's a new member added to the Bucks or the Brewers, you probably add another one to the list, right?
Yeah.
So we're at 11,000, but I'm super curious. I've already been thinking, I knew what I was going to ask you coming over here. What's the one that started it all? What's the first bobblehead in your collection that launched this empire?
So it's sort of a twofold thing. So the first one in the collection was Rocco the Riverhawk, the minor league mascot of the Rockford Riverhawks, which is where Brad and I, the other co-founder, grew up. We came to Milwaukee to go to school, and our collection grew from there. We started to go to games, circle bobblehead games on the calendar, and the collection grew. But then 2013, we produced a bobblehead of Michael Pohl, who's a UWM manager for all the sports teams, a super fan for all the Wisconsin teams, and a Special Olympian.
Yeah.
Did that to raise money for Special Olympics and to honor him. And that's when the idea for the museum came about. So it's sort of both of those that got this thing started.
And so then, like, just walking through the 11,000, I mean, it's bookshelf upon bookshelf of bobbleheads, large, small. What's the biggest bobblehead you have?
So the biggest we have is a little over 7 feet, so Vladimir Guerrero Sr. Yes.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's so big. You're like, what?
7 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really big. That's a really big bobblehead.
So that's 7 feet's the biggest. What's the smallest?
Smallest, we have one that's about 1 inch.
Really?
It's a really old Japanese
That's awesome.
bobblehead. So yes, and then we have a lot in between, the standard 7, 8 inch bobbleheads, and Bobby Portis, who's standing above us, 3 foot tall bobblehead, which is some of the biggest sizes that are out.
What's the, and this is probably hard to answer because I'm sure there's all kinds of crazy ones, but what's the craziest? Like, what's the thing that someone called or you found at a flea market or something, you're like, this is the craziest bobblehead?
So it is difficult to answer, and we hear from visitors, as they're walking around, like, oh my gosh, like they're not expecting to see it. Usually I come back to Mr. Hanky from South Park, which is pretty unique, and we hear that from a lot of visitors too, like, whoa, I wasn't expecting to see that.
Yeah.
What about the most valuable bobblehead?
So that's a good question, and it's sort of hard to gauge because we do have a lot of like one-of-a-kind, some prototypes, some original, some one that was made to used to make some of the first bobbleheads from the 1960s. So yeah, it's really hard to even gauge that. We also have a couple newer editions from 1841, some of the earlier known nodders or bobbleheads.
It's a long time ago, John.
A long time.
A couple of years ago.
Hall of Fame as well as museum. So what was the introductory Hall of Fame class look like? What did that look like?
Yeah, so it was a unique class. It was a class of one, and we in 2015 said, hey, we got an idea, should Pete Rose's bobblehead be the first one inducted?
That's amazing. Yes.
We had an online poll.
love
It
it.
got a lot of press, both locally and nationally.
Yeah.
Got over 10,000 votes, and it was about 94% saying yes, Pete's bobblehead should be the first
Absolutely.
one.
Has Pete ever been here to see it?
He hasn't been to this location.
Yeah.
He's been to Milwaukee to see, and we had a ceremony with him at a convention here in 2015. We actually made a bobblehead of him holding his bobblehead, getting inducted into the Bobblehead Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And
We heard you like bobbleheads, so we made a bobblehead of your bobblehead.
yes, so that one's fun, and so we are sort of debating, how we're going to have that process look. Maybe he'll be the lone member for a while, and
That's awesome.
since he's not, eligible for other Hall of
Yeah.
Fame.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a series of all the people who have become ineligible over the years. Shoeless Joe Jackson.
There we go. Yeah.
All the people who have been banned from
Yes. Other Hall of
various,
Fames.
various other Hall of Fames. We let you be a part of the Bobblehead Hall of Fame. So being in Wisconsin, being in Milwaukee, other than Brewers and Bucks and Packers, obviously the sports teams are going to be highlighted, but what's another quintessential Milwaukee or Wisconsin bobblehead that people love to see?
Yeah, the Milverine is one of those
Nice.
that is on a lot of people's list that they enjoy seeing. Front row Amy, we get a lot of comments and people surprised to
local
see her
legends,
bobblehead.
absolutely.
Local legends that are Freeway.
Sure.
For people that know Freeway.
Yeah, Freeway, yep.
So, in a way, if those who aren't familiar with Milwaukee, part of the Bobblehead Museum could be like learning about some of these local legends. It's almost like a history museum.
Learn about Milwaukee in bobblehead form.
Bobblehead form.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we have quite a few of those individuals who, people from outside the state or even the city might not know. But yeah, come here
That's
and
amazing.
get to learn more about them and about the history of the bobbleheads in general and a lot more.
I'm assuming, as we've established sports and some entertainment. Have you done anything just completely off the walls? Are there animal bobbleheads? Is there buildings? Like, is there any limits to what can be a bobblehead?
Doesn't it have to have a head to bobble?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. What is the limit?
It does not. We don't put any limits. As long as it has the spring, we consider it a bobble. So we do have buildings. We have the Eiffel Tower we turned into a bobble for the first time.
Yeah.
Golden Gate Bridge. We have animals on display. We have pop culture, movies, comics, TV. Politics is a big one, big category of bobbleheads. Even since the early '60s, there were political bobbleheads, and with Milwaukee hosting the Republican National Convention next year, we'll have a really cool display, political bobbleheads. So it doesn't just stop at sports for us.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask Phil is a lot of people have been talking about actual Hall of Fames and how they're running out of room because no one gets out of the Hall of Fame. You get in and then you stay in and more people go. And I'm looking around and you have over 11,000 bobbleheads and I'm going, where are you going to put the rest?
Yeah, we found some room for more, we have might run into that issue. We do have limited space here. We have about 4,000 square feet, so it does have a really nice footprint. But we might have to look into adding a third story or seeing if we can put some bobbleheads at stacked or collective.
A lot of museums, I know Smithsonian and other major museums will put things on loan. So like people will say, hey, we really want this amazing 4th century sword and we want to put it on display. Have you been contacted by any other museums or any other reciprocal institutions to showcase the bobbleheads?
Yeah, we've done that actually a couple times, several times with the Cincinnati Reds. They had a cool bobblehead display at their Reds Hall of Fame museum right outside the Great American Ballpark, and also the New England Patriots at their Hall of Fame. Where those are just a couple, and I think we'll do a lot more of that. We also have duplicates, so people bring in bobbleheads, and we might get 5 Christian Yelich, the same bobblehead, and we can use those for those type of things.
So people do donate bobbleheads to the cause. Because I was going to say, so I do have a few bobbleheads myself. My prized possession one is actually of the Iceman, Kent, who was a beer vendor at American Family Field, and he had a bobblehead that was, there was very few made, and I ended up getting one from him. Do you have that one?
So I think we've been in contact with him. I don't know if we've solidified that, but yes, that's a very...
Oh, I got one. If you're, See, this is how it starts, and we negotiate, and then I leave with the 7-foot bobblehead. That's how it works.
Yeah. So, what's the furthest lengths you've gone to get a bobblehead? Have you make travels to Tibet? Have you gone to the bottom of the ocean to recover one from the Titanic? How far have you gone, and how far are you willing to go for a bobblehead?
We've done some things. We wanted to go and see all the baseball stadiums, so we planned a few of those trips around bobblehead dates. Not always, but so we've done some of that. We've went to Indiana to purchase a collection and bring it back in a U-Haul, and have done some of those things where it's like, yeah, this is, it was something you maybe didn't expect to do or see. And so, there's been some fun stories.
That's
like that.
amazing. The being a destination, an attraction for people to come and see and visit when they're in Milwaukee. Have you ever had just like some random famous person who you would never expect walk through the door because they were like playing a show at the Riverside, or maybe they were just like for whatever having a layover, and then all of a sudden it's like Alice Cooper, or something like that.
Yeah, we do get that from off and on. The biggest one was Macaulay Culkin. He was in town doing some social media videos, and as a big Home Alone fan growing up, I was. Somebody came up the stairs and was like, Macaulay Culkin's downstairs. Do you mind if he comes up and does some, filming and take a couple pictures? And our front desk person thought it was a joke, probably close to April Fool's, and sure enough, he came up, super cool guy, took pictures, and
awesome.
so we've had comedians and other people.
Does he have a bobblehead?
He does. So we actually produced Home Alone bobblehead. Nice. So it was cool. He said his girlfriend brings it out, puts it on the mantle for the holidays. We gave him the other ones in the collection, so Harry and Marv keep him company.
Well, it's certainly, I don't blame him for putting it on the mantle, because it's my dream to have a bobblehead as well.
Well, and mine as well. And actually, Phil, you guys do that, right? You can make custom bobbleheads for people that they can order. And now I've seen bobbleheads in the past, and it was a while ago, but where you slide a photo in to a generic bobblehead. Yes. That's not what you guys do, right?
That's not. So we can make completely customized bobbleheads, fully customized head to toe with the person's actual head. We do have some on display with the old school with the photos, but we do the real thing with the.
Does it take lasers? Does it laser mounted?
Yeah. How does it do it? How do you do it?
How does that happen?
So I think eventually that might be how it goes, but right now actually they're hand sculpted out of clay based on the pictures. So taking pictures of everything, and we can do completely customized. So people put in props or hats, glasses, anything you want.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before the Joshing Around bobbleheads grace mantles across the greater Milwaukee region.
Now, so if someone wanted to do that, through the website, is that how they would?
That's how they do it. Yeah, they just go to our website, bobbleheadhall.com, and put in the information. You can order it right on there. Just a couple minutes, easy steps. Upload the pictures, and boom. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks, maybe a little bit more during the rush period of the holidays. But it's a cool process. You get to see basically the same process that the Brewers or Bucks would go through to do their bobbleheads.
Very cool. And it's if you didn't want one of yourself, but you thought, I want to get a bobblehead of a specific sports figure or something. You guys do sell bobbleheads too, right?
We do, yeah. So we have a big selection online, thousands of different bobbleheads, sports, politics, movies, everything you can think of, and then also a pared down selection here at the museum, over 500 bobbleheads, as well as merchandise like hats, shirts, postcards, and everything else.
Do you have a favorite? Is there one that you come and say hi to every day?
So that'd be Michael's bobblehead, that one that really kickstarted the museum. Yeah. Sort of the sentimental favorite, but I'm sure there are some others that the local teams, the Bucks.
I'm staring at a few. I think some Bob Euchre's here, some Benny the Brewer. The whole Brewers wing is staring right at me.
Yeah, so we're in the Wisconsin section here, so surrounded by 1,000 different Wisconsin bobbleheads, from minor leagues all the way to the pros and colleges and everything in between.
So I spent some time before we were filming walking around and looking at everything. It is truly an incredible collection. But I had to tell you, I was so nervous to just bump into something. And I thought, I'm going to hate to ask Phil this, but I have to. Has anyone ever come in here and broken a bobblehead on accident?
We've had a couple casualties, but in the amount of time we've been open, it's been really limited. Our employees have actually broken more than visitors.
And stuff? Yeah,
just dusting or moving it around for moving something from one section to another. So it's very rare. People are really careful. We have scavenger hunts for kids, which keeps them really busy. We often tell families coming in that adults are worse than kids when it comes to touching. We also give prizes for kids who don't touch. That keeps them engaged and keeps their hands off.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So you see a lot of visitors come through, other than the Bobblehead Museum. Where else do you like to send people in the community? What's some of your go-to places?
Yeah, we love the community. There's from just taking a walk on the lakefront and going in the Calatrava, our museum. We definitely recommend that. Public Market and 3rd Street Market Hall are just two great spots to get some local great eats. Cops for custard is my favorite, but there's so many other good ones as well. Broken Bat Breweries right across the street for a good beer. Those are I guess, man, do you want more? I can keep
We
knocking
love it.
out
That's
some
what we're
more.
all about. Yeah.
Keep going. We got time here.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like a time limit of here's 10 seconds to give us your favorite place.
25 minutes later, he's still
Yeah,
going
still
through
going.
all the
People
places.
Give me the list. They just keep going because, that's what we're all about is having a good time in the city of Milwaukee. And certainly the Bobblehead Museum is one of those places, all ages, for people to come and see something that's, I think it's quintessential, like Americana, sort of, kitschy art that's fun, timeless. All ages. It's just such a cool thing, and I'm so happy that it has a home here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, we're glad to be here.
It is super cool, and honestly, now that I know this, I think I got to go get that bobblehead to bring to you guys. So this has been fun. Thanks a lot, Phil. You know what? I'll see you later, Phil.
We drove here together.